The San Francisco 49ers unfortunately suffer our first loss of the season against the NFC division rival, the Seattle Seahawks, 27-24 in overtime, and this was just a heartbreaking loss, guys. It was such a hard-fought game, and what we saw is that our number one defense, we absolutely put on a show in this game. We showed the whole world a force to be reckoned with in this defense, forcing 4 sacks of Russell Wilson in the game. We forced 4 forced fumbles and a crucial red zone interception from Russell Wilson in overtime that potentially almost set us up, guys, to get the game-winning field goal in overtime. But the rookie off the streets that we signed for this week, due to Robbie Gould missing the game, Chase McClellan missed the potential game-winning field goal. I believe it was a 42-yard field goal. And, it just seemed in that moment the pressure got to him as he had made his 3 previous kicks in the game, including a kick to send us to overtime, 24-24, and he even had made a 57-yard kick in the pregame. So, these kind of things are going to happen, but I think when you look really more into this game, another factor was that, the Seattle Seahawks defense, they stopped our running game. In this game, the 49ers running game was almost non-existent. In fact, our leading rusher in the game only had 40 rushing yards in Tavon Coleman. So, on 9 rushing attempts. And then also Raheem Mostert got some carries in the game, guys, with 28 yards on 6 rushing attempts. So, really what that did is that for the Seahawks, it enabled their defense to really, set up a lot of schemes to defend passes, and it put a lot of pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo to make throws. And then the other concern in this game was, early in the game, Emmanuel Sanders went down with an injury. And, that proved to be really crucial because going into the game, we were already missing our top tight end, George Kittle. So Ross Dwelley, number 82, the rookie, he got some action in the game. And then when Emmanuel Sanders went down, who is, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo's one of his number 1 targets, you didn't really have a whole lot of guys to go to, which led to the emergence in the game of Deebo Samuel, guys. In the game, he had 8 catches for 112 yards. So yeah, guys, another thing is that, the Seahawks were putting a lot of pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. And so you saw Jimmy Garoppolo really make some ill-advised throws in, some windows that he got really lucky, especially on the last drive of regulation. There were 2 instances where throws could have been intercepted and the game would have been over, and we never would have saw the daylight of overtime. So, I think that is something that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to work through. And so this was a good learning experience against a really tough team in the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. And so, guys, another thing is that Joe Staley and Mike McGlinchey, with them returning back from their injuries, you had to figure that they were going to be a little rusty, being that it was their first game back. And I believe Clowney, the guy, Seahawks defender, he was just absolutely, a monster today, unfortunately. We could not stop him, and he put a ton of pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. Even plays that when he didn't force sacks on Garoppolo, he still was forcing incompletions, and so it really made it difficult on our offense, to be able to really our offensive line to protect Jimmy Garoppolo in the game. And so, guys, all in all, when you look at this, turning the ball over 3 times, the 49ers did. We also allowed 5 sacks, meaning, Jimmy Garoppolo got sacked 5 times. All of these things, really, and we potentially had a chance to win the game in overtime with a 42-yard field goal. So really, I think with all things being said, there are a lot of positives to take out of this game. Again, you never make excuses as to why you lost, but I think, when you look more in depth into this game, the 49ers are going to be just fine coming off of this loss. We'll be able to shake, the bruises off of this one and be ready for our next opponent against the Arizona Cardinals and try to get back in the win column. But first, guys, let's get more in depth into this game. So Jimmy Garoppolo on the day, he completed 24 passes on 46 attempts for 248 yards with 1 touchdown. Of course, he did throw 1 interception in the game, but on that interception, again, it was a result of a high throw, but then also Kendrick Bourne could have potentially reeled in the catch. So again, it was a combination of both players not making it easy for the other guy to make a play. And, so that is what led to the interception. Now, Russell Wilson in the game, he did have a phenomenal game. We got to give credit where credit is due. He's been a force in the NFL for a long time and continues to prove it on the bright stage. And unfortunately, it was against us again in this one, guys. Completing 24 passes on 34 pass attempts for 232 yards. He also had 1 touchdown, and of course, me mentioned earlier, the 1 interception thrown in overtime. Now, we mentioned earlier the rushing with Tavon Coleman. 49ers were halted by the Seahawks defense, so not a whole lot of running game going in this one. And for the Seahawks, Chris Carson, he had a lot of carries in this one. So the Seahawks were running the ball effectively, getting a few yards here and there. And then Russell Wilson, of course, doing what he does with his arm, making plays happen. Again, Deebo Samuel, guys, with a big game receiving-wise. Kendrick Bourne also, he had 4 receptions in the game with 42 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. And that 49ers #1 ranked defense, guys, we wreaked havoc, 4 forced fumbles, 4 sacks, as we mentioned earlier. Fred Warner was the 49ers' leading tackler with 9 tackles in the game. He accounted for 2 sacks as well. Emmanuel Mosley continues to step it up, guys, with Ahkello Witherspoon still out. Emmanuel Mosley with 7 tackles in the game. And then K'Wan Williams, guys, he had a big game, 6 tackles and a half sack. He also forced 2 forced fumbles. Now, I believe he did leave the game injury-wise, so prayers make sure that, a speedy recovery, that it's nothing serious, and that, he'll be able to get back out there as soon as possible. Dre Greenlaw, guys, he had the big interception in overtime. He had 3 tackles in the game, and what a way to step in with Quan Alexander being out for the season. This was an opportunity for Dre Greenlaw to get in there. The 22-year-old had a great game, especially with that big interception. Looked like it was going to be the potential interception to set up the game-winning field goal. Jimmy Ward continues to improve. He had 4 tackles in the game. And then Eric Armstead, guys, he had 2 tackles as well with 1.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. And again, with Eric Armstead, we did see a little bit of an injury situation go on. So again, we will get all of those details out going into the next game and figure everything out. But right now, again, we just have to stay positive. There are a lot of good things to take from this game, but also we have to understand the things that we need to work on. As mentioned earlier with Jimmy Garoppolo, being able to handle the pressure, not rushing throws, not making ill-advised throws, and, putting throws where he needs to for his receivers to make plays on the ball and not have, the defenders have a chance to get their hands on the ball. And so, guys, let's look ahead to the future, to the San Francisco 49ers next game. They are going to be taking on the Arizona Cardinals, a NFC West division battle. I cannot wait, guys. I'm actually going to be going to the game with my family, so we will be bringing a reaction video to you live from Levi Stadium on Sunday. It is about to be rocking. And so, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it all the way through to the end of the video, then be sure to smash up that like button and smash that subscriber button and smash the bell button if you have not done so already. if you would like to be notified when new San Francisco 49er videos are being posted. We will be bringing you guys live in-game reactions from each game, and we will also be bringing you game recaps. And so, guys, let me know down in that comment section, what are your guys' thoughts after, the unfortunate, heartbreaking loss. Our first loss of the season against the Seattle Seahawks. Never a good feeling to lose against them, but, the good thing is we will still have another opportunity to play them in Seattle, and so we can try to get our revenge then. But for now, we got to focus on the Arizona Cardinals. And so, guys, as always, until next time, I will see you guys again. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.